Niger boat tragedy. Death toll climbs to 24 as divers recover 8 more bodies. Gunmen strike in the Navy, killing 2 police officers. Senate revives bill on South-South Development Commission suspension. Iran. DR Congo boat mishap. Hello and welcome to Trust TV's news update. I am Chiamaka Mwafo. Thank you for joining us. Divers have recovered 8 more bodies from water on Thursday morning, a day after a passenger boat conveying Mulid celebrants capsized at Michibo Mokwa local government area of Niger State. According to the Niger State Emergency Management Agency, the recovery brought the total number of deaths to 24. A boat with 300 people on board had capsized after taking off from Mundi community, just a short distance to the victim's destination. Gunmen early Thursday killed 2 policemen in Urago, Navy North local government area of Anambra State. The officers were conducting investigations in the area when the attack occurred. Confirming the killings, the police public relations officer SP Tochukwu Ikenga stated that the Joint Security Force has begun a manhunt for the armed men who murdered the 2 police operatives during their investigation. According to him, preliminary information revealed that the armed men opened fire on the police operatives upon sighting them and threw an improvised explosive into the operational vehicle. Tragically, 2 of the operatives lost their lives and the vehicle caught fire. The PPRO urged members of the public, especially eyewitnesses, to assist with the ongoing police operations in the area. Key security stakeholders across the Sahel gathered in Abuja to address the ongoing insecurity plaguing the region and explore viable solutions. Organized by the News Agency of Nigeria, the forum brought together policymakers, security experts and diplomats to identify the triggers and propose strategies for stabilizing the Sahel. Trust TV's Shafiu Suleiman has more.
The first international lecture on insecurity in the Sahel, titled Insecurity in the Sahel 2008 to 2024, Dissecting Nigeria's Challenges, Genesis, Impacts and Options, brought together leading experts to tackle the crisis. Key factors identified include socio-economic hardships, environmental pressures, poor governance, and regional stability, all of which continue to fuel the insecurity threatening both Nigeria and the wider Sahel region.
At the heart of the insecurity in this region, among other factors, are the undercurrents of poverty, unemployment, proliferation of small arms and light weapons, weak governance and institutional failures, as well as climate change and environmental degradation.
The collapse of the Libyan state in 2011, for instance, unleashed an influx of weapons and fighters which catalyzed the rise of militant groups across the Sahel. Nigeria, as a critical player in the region, has borne a significant share of the fallout from this instability.
A secure Nigeria is a secure Sahel region because of our number, because of our size, because of our strategic position where we are. We are fixing Nigeria, and you will see it is going to translate into the other parts of our neighbors who are indeed facing challenges and difficulties.
With a population nearing 2 billion, enriched in sought-after mineral resources, the Sahel is becoming a magnet for non-state actors, experts warn. This growing interest underscores the urgent need for authorities to develop sustainable solutions to address the region's mounting challenges.
Society has a lot of role to play in fighting insecurity. It's not about the kinetic measures, it's not about the Nigerian armed forces, but we as the citizens and the society, we need to play a very critical role in addressing this issue by providing adequate information to the security agencies.
because Nigerians, all of us, especially all of us in this hall, I believe, have seen large populations from either Niger or Chad moving into Nigeria, either one out of drought, insecurity, economic failure, or combination of both.
Despite efforts by the Nigerian government and its regional partners to tackle insecurity, rising poverty, unemployment, school dropouts, and deadly attacks by non-state actors reveal that much remains to be done. The situation continues to worsen, casting doubt on the effectiveness of current strategies. Shafiu Suleiman, Trust TV News, Abuja.
The High Court of the Federal Capital Territory, Maitama, has issued a public summons against immediate past Kogi State Governor Yahaya Bello to attend court in answer to a fresh 16-count charge against him. By the summons, Bello is to attend court on October 24 in response to the summons and for his arraignment along with two other defendants. Justice Marianne Anini issued the order for public summons in a ruling on Thursday, following an application by the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC. Justice Anini will order the EFCC to publish the public summons in a widely circulating newspaper, also ordered the EFCC to paste copies of the public summons on Bello's last known address and in conspicuous places in court premises. The FCC had claimed that it has been unable to serve Bello with the charge filed on September 24 and in which the ex-governor and two others were charged with criminal breach of trust to the tune of 110.4 billion naira. The other two defendants in the charge are Umar Oricha and Abdul Salami Hudu. Bello's absence stalled the arraignment earlier scheduled for Thursday. The Senate has received President Bola Tinubu's communication seeking consideration and passage of the proposed fiscal policy and tax reform bill to align with ongoing financial reforms of the federal government and enhance efficiency in tax compliance. The House of Representatives also received 4 bills forwarded by the President. They include the Nigerian Tax Bill, the Nigerian Tax Administration Bill, the Nigerian Revenue Establishment Bill, and the Joint Revenue Board Establishment Bill. In his 64th Independence Day anniversary speech, Tinubu said some economic stabilization bills would be transmitted to the National Assembly. The transformative bills, according to the President, will make the business environment in Nigeria more friendly, stimulate investment, and reduce the tax burden on businesses and workers once they are passed into law. Also, the chairman of the Presidential Task Force on Fiscal Policy and Tax Reforms Committee, Taiwo Oyedele, said the withholding tax regulations 2024 has been gazetted. The Senate has reopened debate on a bill to establish the South-South Development Commission, which was suspended in July. The bill was suspended after a larger number of the senators voted against it through voice votes. However, in a fresh twist, the expression, "what is good for the goose is good for the gander," prevailed on Thursday as the lawmakers began making a case for its reconsideration. They hinged their argument on the premise that every zone is fundamentally entitled to its commission. The bill, sponsored by Senator Soko Ekpayang, representing Cross River South, was kicked against by a substantial number of lawmakers 3 months ago. They argued that the bill is a duplication of the functions of the Niger Delta Development Commission, NDDC, which already takes care of the objectives of the proposed piece of legislation. So far, nearly 10 senators have embraced the merits of the commission, saying it will be development-based, not resource-based like the NDDC. The bill has been referred to the Committee on Special Duties to report back within 1 week. Federal High Court in Abuja has issued an order barring the Directorate of Road Traffic Services, otherwise known as VIO, from further stopping vehicles on the road, impounding or confiscating vehicles, and imposing fines on motorists. Justice Evelyn Maha issued the order in a judgment on a fundamental rights enforcement suit filed by a human rights activist and public interest attorney, Abubakar Marshall. Also affected by the order are the Director of Road Transport, the Area Commander Jabi, and the Team Leader Jabi, and the Minister of the FCT, who are all listed as respondents. In the judgment delivered on Wednesday, October 2nd, Justice Maha upheld Marshall's argument that no law empowers the respondents to stop, impound, confiscate, seize, or impose fines on motorists. The judge declared that the first to the fourth respondents were under the control of the fifth respondent, Minister of the FCT, are not empowered by any law or statute to stop, impound or confiscate the vehicles of motorists and or impose fines on motorists. She proceeded to issue an order restraining the first to fourth respondents either through their agents, servants and or assigns from impounding, confiscating the vehicle of motorists and or imposing a fine on any motorist, as doing so is wrongful, oppressive and unlawful by themselves. 19 underage children from Kebbi State have been rescued from the human traffickers in Calabar, Cross River State in a sting operation by NAPTIP, which highlights the ongoing efforts to combat child trafficking in Nigeria. Here's the report.
Nigeria is faced with many crises. Unfortunately, human trafficking is not isolated, exploiting thousands of vulnerable children annually for forced labor, prostitution, and other forms of exploitation. However, there is hope on the horizon. The recent rescue of 19 underage children from human traffickers in Calabar, Cross River State, is a testament to the collaborative efforts of the National Agency for the Prohibition of Trafficking in Persons, NAPTIP, the Kebbi State Government, the Nigerian Financial Intelligence Unit, NFIU, the SSS, and other security agencies. Governor Nasir Idris of Kebbi State commended the security agencies for their tireless efforts and resilience in combating insecurity. He assured the public of the government's unwavering commitment to protecting the vulnerable and ensuring a safe and secure environment for children to thrive.
This achievement would not have been possible without the collaboration effort of the National Agency for the Prohibition of Trafficking in Persons, our state governments, Nigerian Financial Intelligence Unit, DSS, and other sister security agencies. As government, we remain committed to protecting the vulnerable and ensuring that our children grow up in a safe and secure environment.
The governor stressed the need for the children to have confidence in the government, saying they are not alone and the government to do everything in its power to ensure their safety and well-being.
To the rescued children, I assure you that we will provide all necessary care and support to help you recover from the traumatic experience. You are not alone, and we will do everything in our power to ensure your safety and well-being. Let this achievement serve as a warning to those who seek to exploit and harm our children. We will not tolerate such evil in our dear state, and we will continue to work tirelessly to bring in perpetrators to justice.
The commander of NAPTIP Kebbi State, Ms. Bahu Kaura, who handed over the children to the governor, confirmed that 3 of the human traffickers are already in custody, awaiting.
We have 3 suspects which is still under our custody, and we will charge them to court.
This successful rescue operation underscores the importance of collaborative efforts between the government and the various security agencies in combating human trafficking and ensuring the safety and well-being of Nigerian children. From Birnin Kebbi, Cynthia Yongu reporting for Trust TV.
More stories. Former Vice President Atiku Abubakar has proposed a 6-year single-term rotational presidency between the southern and northern regions of Nigeria. In a letter to Deputy Senate President Jibrin Barrow, who is the chairman of the Senate Committee on Constitution Review, Atiku sought that his proposal be considered in the ongoing constitutional amendment process by the National Assembly. The letter, dated August 29, 2024, was signed by Atiku, the 2023 presidential candidate of the People's Democratic Party, PDP. The former vice president sought that paragraph A be added to section 130, subsection 1 of the 1999 Constitution to read that the office of the president shall rotate among the 6 geopolitical zones of the Federation on a single term of 6 years, following between the North and South on the single term of 6 years. The former vice president has run for presidency 6 times in the last 30 years. There is a growing trend among young people where speaking their native languages is quickly going out of style. Many weren't taught or simply abandoned it under peer pressure. Jimmy Azenda reports on the phenomena in Markadi, the Benue State capital.
Nigeria, like many African nations, boasts of over 200 ethnic groups, Sadly, only a few are actively working to preserve their indigenous languages. This has become a major concern for elders who feel the younger generation is neglecting their cultural heritage. For those of us who are members of the Traditional Council, we are worried with this trend. Oftentimes, we discuss to chart the way forward. But it seems we cannot do it alone. We are begging on whoever is concerned to help. Some residents express concern that parents and guardians are failing to teach their children their native languages, unlike in the past. They worry that many parents prioritize Pidgin or English over their mother tongues. School administrators say they are limited in what they can do if parents don't reinforce language learning at home.
The parents are so happy to say that my children don't know how to speak Tiv. They don't know how to speak their mother tongue, and they're so proud about it. And so we are speaking to the director of secondary, and we told him that it is actually wise that we have languages. We know we study language, we study French, but we don't study Tiv language in school. So it is wise that we introduce Tiv and Idoma in schools, like in our schools here in Benue State.
We discover that now we find ourselves in a situation whereby instead of the parents to speak their own mother tongue with the children at home, most of them speak English. So the English language should be left for the teachers in school, while the parents should speak and teach their children their mother tongue.
Some parents, they are not teaching their son their mother language, their own language, and which is not good, which is not proper. I want to advise parents that at least try to teach your son your language.
The government, teachers and parents must unite to address the language challenge if Nigeria's rich cultural diversity is to be preserved for future generations. Jimmy Azandi, Trust TV News, Makurdi.
The federal government has introduced new fiscal incentives to boost foreign investments in Nigeria's oil and gas sector. The two incentives were unveiled by the Minister of Finance and Coordinating Minister of the Economy, Wale Edun, in a statement on Wednesday. According to the statement by the Finance Ministry and signed by the Director of Information and Public Relations, Mohammed Manga, it said the incentives are aimed at revitalizing Nigeria's oil and gas sector. He also announced that the importation of key energy products and infrastructure, including diesel, feed gas, liquefied petroleum gas, compressed natural gas, electric vehicles, liquefied natural gas infrastructure, and clean cooking equipment will no longer require value-added tax payment. Manga said the initiative would position Nigeria's deep offshore basin as a premier destination for global oil and gas investments, bolster energy security, and accelerate Nigeria's transition to cleaner energy sources. Away from Nigeria, rescuers have recovered some 20 bodies after a boat carrying people and merchandise capsized this Thursday on Lake Kivu, in eastern DR Congo, according to security and harbor sources. While authorities did not specify the number of passengers on board, 2 children were rushed to hospital but died before they could be treated, a medical source disclosed. More and more people are opting to cross the northern tip of Lake Kivu by boat to reach Goma to avoid overland travel in an area prone to fighting between Congolese government forces and the rebel movement M23. Since launching an offensive in late 2021, M23, a Rwandan-backed largely Tutsi militia, has seized large swaths of territory in the eastern DRC, a mineral-rich region housing a string of rival rebel groups that has been plagued by internal and cross-border violence for the past 3 decades. Deadly shipwrecks on lakes and rivers are common occurrences in the Central African country, where roads are in poor condition and a systematic lack of passenger lists often complicates rescue operations. The Dominican Republic on Wednesday announced that it will start massive deportations of Haitians living illegally in the country, swelling up to 10,000 of them a week. Government spokesman Homero Figueroa told reporters that the government took the decision after noticing an excess of Haitian migrants in the Dominican Republic, which shares the island of Hispaniola with Haiti. Figueroa said officials have seen an increase in Haitian migrants as a police mission in Haiti to fight gang violence flounders. He said authorities also agreed to strengthen border surveillance and control, but he did not provide details. Last year, the Dominican Republic deported more than 174,000 people, it says, are Haitians, while in the first half of the year it has expelled at least 67,000 more. Activities have long criticized the administration of President Luis Abinader for what they say are ongoing human rights violations of Haitians and those of Haitian descent born in the Dominican Republic.
A protocol will be established for illegal immigrants and their assisted return, guaranteeing dignified conditions and in collaboration with the Haitian authorities.
In sports, the Confederation of African Football CAF is set to follow in the footsteps of UEFA in organizing the Under-19 Champions League. According to an update from Cairo, the headquarters of the body, the competition department is already nursing the ambition of having the youth competition as soon as possible. CAF already has competition for age grade national teams, but no competition for the age grade at the club level. However, they are yet to ratify how the competition will be organized and how clubs will be admitted into the tournament. Still in sports, an Argentinian court on Tuesday issued a ruling allowing the transfer of football legend Diego Maradona's remains to a public mausoleum in Buenos Aires, granting a request made by his 5 children. The court in San Isidro said it gave the right of removal to Maradona's children for humanitarian and emotional reasons, arguing that his family should decide when to make the move. The 1986 World Cup winner was buried in a private cemetery around 50 kilometers north of Buenos Aires. A public mausoleum in Buenos Aires for Maradona's remains is currently being built in the affluent neighborhood of Puerto Madero. Several people, including health professionals, are to face trial for their alleged responsibility in Maradona's death in 2020. Prosecutors launched a probe into those involved in his care and alleged his treatment was full of deficiencies and irregularities. On a side note, former Senator and ex-Director General of the MK Abiola Campaign Organization in the June 12, 1993 presidential election, Senator Jonathan Silas Zingwa, is dead. The former lawmaker died on Wednesday at the age of 70 in Abuja after a protracted illness. Zwingina, a former senator representing Adamawa Southern Senatorial District, was one of the founding members of the People's Democratic Party, PDP, where he was elected in 1999 and re-elected in April 2003. He served on the Senate Committees of Works and Housing, Establishment, Internal Affairs, Information, Special Projects, Privatization, and Economic Affairs. May his soul rest in peace. And that's it for news updates at this time. For more of our news programs and documentaries, do want to follow us on our social media platforms and on our YouTube live stream. I am Chiamaka Nwafo. Thank you for joining us.